Welcome back to a couple of new episodes in this new series which I have started, which is on creation of a chat room using iOS Swift and WebSocket. So I have a Node.js server for that, which will actually set up your WebSockets. And in previous episodes, we covered how to actually create VIPER modules for this specific project. Then we created each module as frameworks, and then we set up a landing page as well as a login page. And I showed you how to transition between, let's say, a landing page to a login page. So that's where we are right now at. And in the couple of new episodes which we are right now starting in this series, whatever we are going to do is we need to start integrating a theme to this project. So we will start with a light theme, and towards the fag end of the project we will also integrate the dark theme for whenever you do either from the application or from um, whenever you change the theme from the device settings. So those are some of the things we are doing. So today we are going to set up Carthage as a dependency management, so that we can integrate RxSwift, Alamophire, and WebSocket IO. So these are the things we are going to set up today as part of the dependency management. Then um, after that, we will set up tab bars for the application. So as soon as you log in, so login starts with a validation, which we will implement using RxSwift, where you need to validate at least the basic stuff like whether the email ID is valid or not. That's the only validation we are going to cover today. Not so, but in the future maybe episodes, I will take up something like a real validation from the server if a username or a password exists. I mean, the username exists or not, the real-time validation, and then an auth-based password validation, or maybe not auth, but JWT based password validation, user validation maybe. So that's what I will cover in the future episode. But today we are just going to use a specific username of a user to join a chat room. So that's what we are doing, not today, but then we will start setting up the WebSockets today, and using as soon as the user logs in, at least a basic connection. That's more like setting up a WebSocket connection. As soon as the user logs in, you set up a WebSocket connection, and then let the user start using that WebSocket to maybe join a chat room. So that's not covered today. That will be in the next episode, because I need to still add some more validations on the um, web server, whichever I have set up. So today's focus is at least this much. We will do a initial validation before the login happens. Then we will use RxSwift for that. We will use RxSwift for validation, and then we are setting up this Carthage dependency for Swift Starscream, Socket IO, and maybe not Alamofire right at the moment, but Socket IO and Starscream. And we will create some tab items which can be shown like. I'm planning to show the chat rooms which are available. Right now, nothing is available. So it will show an empty view, which we are again creating as a reusable component, because we have so many empty views right now. Like chat rooms will be empty. The friends who is around right now, who have joined in, if they are not there, then that will also show as an empty view. That is another view that we will set up today. So that's pretty much what we are trying to cover today. So maybe without much delay, let's get started. Let's start by setting up the Carthage for this project. So for that, we need to create one file called Cartfile in the project. So let's do that. So this is my project folder. I'm gonna say touch Cartfile. So I guess that's what we need, Cartfile. So that creates a Carthage file for us. Let me just open that. It's a plain empty file right now. So I already have the dependencies required, at least the basic ones. I'm just going to use that. So I'm going to use RxSwift first thing first. I'm going to include that. Then I need socket IO Also, I'm going to include that. And that's pretty much what I right now require for setting up Carthage. I mean, setting up the dependency, let's say for a login. I'm going to validate using RxSwift, and then I'm going to set up a socket connection using the socket IO. So let me just add these two right now. So save this. Let me go back here, and then I just need to say Carthage update. So CocoaPod was different. It used to create a workspace for us, but Carthage does not do that. It lets us use the project file itself. So it's installing the RX Swift version as well as Socket.io version. So Socket.io is also coming along with a star screen. So that's also included 3.1.1 version. So that's getting compiled right now. So once that is done, we need to do a little more number of steps to complete Carthage. So let me just show you what all things, let me just show you the documentation of Carthage, which is some things are required to be done. So it's better that I show you Carthage for their web page or the GitHub page itself. So that let that get installed for the time being. Let me just show you what all things we need. So once you install or add the dependency, let's say if you're adding an Alamo fire, after that you need to set up some uh, run Carthage update. We did that now. Uh, it will create the dependencies, and then we need to drag and drop the framework which are required. So I'll be doing that once this is completed. It's still going on. And then we need to add some run scripts, something like this: user local bin Carthage copy frameworks. And then we need to also set up the paths of this input as well as the output files. So those are some of the things which we need to do as part of the implementation of Carthage. So let's do one by one. Let this get installed. So I think it's going to take a little while for it. Let's wait for it. Wow, finally. So I did a small mistake here. So let me show you what it took. Pretty much a long time, but then that's expected. But then one thing you can do to reduce this is to include only the platform which you are interested in. You can just say platform iOS. So that'll just install uh, only the framework elements which are required for iOS. This has installed everything or downloaded everything which is required for all the platform, WatchOS, whatnot. So we don't need all that. Platform should be platform iOS. That's what you should have run instead of the whole Carthage update. So that's something you can try at your end. So anyway, I'm done with this. It was a nerve-wracking delay. So let's continue. So this is done. So let's do this part. We need to have a new run script. We need to include that in our project. So go there, go to the project, plus new run script faces added, new run script, and this is where we need to, oh, the shell script, this is where we need to include the script. Let me just quickly see that so that I don't make much mistakes. The faces, Carthage run script. Okay, so let me just call this as Carthage run scripts and include the script here. Go back, copy frameworks. That's it. So that's your script. And then next step is you need to include this input and output files. So similar to whatever is shown here, copy paste that. So if it is this part at least, let's create and see what it creates. So it creates rx src root, the input file. So what is that they have? Src root. So it is created within this Carthage folder. So let me just show you where it is created right now. So there is a Carthage folder within that build iOS. So this is what I told. It has downloaded for each and every other frame platforms which are not actually required. We just need an iOS, but it has downloaded. Maybe it'll reduce your time by at least one fourth of whatever it took for me. So that's what. So these frameworks are within this Carthage build iOS folder. All these folders, all these frameworks are here. So let's add one by one. We need this part until this part, and then the framework. So we have different frameworks. We need to add each and everything, like whatever we need. Rx Coco framework, then Carthage, then we have Rx Swift, Swift. Then we should be having Rx Relay as well. Rx Relay. Then we added a couple of other things, which is Socket IO as well as TaskScreen. So include these two as well. Socket IO. And let's add it. Let's not make a mistake in adding a wrong name of the framework. Instead, let's do that properly. TaskScreen and finally Socket IO. So we are not done yet. We need to also add the output. So Socket IO is done. So all the frameworks which are required is added in the input now. So let's also do the same with the output. So derived file, I think that's not the way you need to build a products directory, framework folder path, and then LMO file. So let's do it. So what is that I have added in my existing project? It's the same stuff, like we just need to do. So I'm just gonna grab whatever I have right now. It's easier. Framework folder path, TaskScreen, first thing. Then I have Rx Coco, Rx Swift. So whatever we have added as Carthage today, I'm just including only that. We might add more in the future based on the requirement. Socket IO. So is this the file? We added file. We have Rx Coco relay, all that file. So this is done. So we have all the dependencies added. Now next step is to actually include the dependencies frameworks within the build phases. So where is that we need it right now? We need to validate login Rx Swift. Let's include it there. Within dependencies, go to link binary with libraries. Go to add other, add files. Go to your Carthage build iOS. I need Rx Coco, I need Rx Relay framework, and I need Rx Swift. That's it. Those are included now. Let's compile once. Should not be a problem. It should compile properly because we have just added some dependencies. So that's done. So once we go to the chat login, where are we? Okay, this is where it is. Title, description, avatar. So we need to start including the presenter and all those things for this one. Before that, let's check once. Rx, yeah, it's available. Xcooker should be compiling proper. So that's dependency management using Carthage. That is done. You have included Carthage folder. So I'm going to take a break, come back, and then start implementing the validations for login, but login where you need to validate for the username as well, not the username. At least once uh, email we are validating whether it is a valid email or not, and the combination of username and validate email should be available so that you can enable the login button so that you can go to the next step. That's what you're going to do. So build the whole chat room login part where we will include the router, the presenter and everything, so that you can go back to you can route it back to the window and then start the new tab screens from there. So that's what I'm going to do in the next episode. So I'm coming back soon. Bye.